All right, we are live. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Carlie, and thank you for being on my channel, Consciousness with Carlie. So we are going live today. We're going to have conscious conversations. I am specifically doing this for everyone on my page and my clients. They're going to be on here, and it just gives me an hour to really bring some higher perspective for everybody. Hey, Terra Nova, I appreciate you so much. You are always on these lives and such a good support. Hello, Journey Awakened Heart. Good morning. Man, it's early where you are, huh? I am using my Bluetooth mic on this live. I'm hoping that it connects well, so please let me know how it sounds to you. Hi, Tamara. Hello, I hope you're doing so good. I'm so excited to talk to you. Message me and tell me how you're doing. I'm so interested to hear how it's all going for you. So anyways, what I want to talk about for this live is just conscious conversations, right? Thank you. Okay, thank you. Conscious conversations. What does that mean? What is that, right? It's just bringing awareness. We're just becoming aware of the aspects of us that maybe we can't see or aren't able to see, and then the aspects of us that we do see that we're either alchemizing or pulling in. There's so many different versions of you. So many different versions. You know, we have the depths of hell, and we have versions throughout that. We have the heights of heaven, and we have versions throughout that, right? So there's so many different versions that we have. Thank you so much, Tara. Hi, Pat. Good to see you. So I'm doing this live. You guys can chat anything that you need a higher perspective on, and I will do my best to bring that for you. I did do a reel earlier today that explains the single point consciousness and its reflection, which is duality that it created, and then the creation from that, right? So I can show you again real quick. Let me clip my mic to something. Hold on. Maybe my necklace. We'll see. Okay. So you have your single point of consciousness, which is the all-seeing eye, and it wanted to have choice. It wanted to create reflection so it could see what it was. So it created a mirror so it could see itself. And when it did that, it divided itself into two different energies. You have fear and you have love. And out of those two different energies, it now has choice of what it would like to create, right? So we're creating from two different choices that are all connected to the single source of consciousness, right? So that is what's happening here. This is the sacred geometry. With the reflection and the awareness of duality, love and fear, and this creation, it then can bring other perspectives to that. Same thing, different angle. Same thing, different angle. And then from there, same thing, different angle. See what I'm saying? This is sacred geometry. It's still the all-seeing eye. It's just seeing itself through different points of view or dimension. But the baseline is the love and fear and the creation, right? So, one sec. I explain that so that way you have a baseline idea of why you are represented with different choices. Something that I've noticed recently and have been fully teaching people is to recognize what the emotions, which are your compass, are showing you from what reflection you're creating from. Is it fear or is it love? So, Pat, when I'm talking about this, whatever is going on in your life, ask yourself if you are standing up in fear or in love. Ask yourself if that mirror is coming from fear or love, right? And I guarantee you, Pat, that you know the answer to that, right? What that mirror is showing you. So if you have pure love in your heart, there will be no fear, and a result of that love is your intuition. It is pure divine energy, right? Pure divine energy. You are standing in truth, Pat, right? You're standing in truth, and everything else has to bounce off of that. And you're going to trigger the hell out of people. That's what happens when you shift. Your frequency changes, and you're no longer the version of them, of yourself to them, the mirror. You're no longer the version that they knew, right? And so there's going to be a disresonance there. You're going to see this as you shift. And this is why so many people say, I'm a lone wolf, because you are. When you are a direct descendant from the truest source of love, right? We chose love. That's what we work for. We're a direct descendant of that. So you are alone. You are alone in your truth. That is the power of being a warrior, right? Got accused of doing drugs because yep, absolutely, bro. Brush it off. You know your truth. You're not going to convince them otherwise. You're wasting your energy trying to, right? Because they can't hear you. You're in a different state of consciousness now. So they can't hear you. The only way they can hear you is if you go down to their level. But as a warrior, you can't go down to their level, right? You can't. You have to stay exactly where you are to be their mirror. And there's going to be a disresonance, and people will fade off for a while. But when they're ready to see themselves, they're going to come to you, and they will know. Yep. And 5D is a perspective. It's a new point of view, right? And that's exactly where this triangle comes into play. And this is what I taught on the last live, was that the different point of view is a different perspective. Hey, Tyler, thanks for popping on. Heavenly 970, thank you. But it's a different perspective. So I'm going to explain this again because it's always relevant. A 3D object does not know that it is a 3D object when it is the 3D object, okay? It can only know that it is a 3D object if it comes outside of itself to see that it's a 3D object, right? Once it has that point of view dimensionally, so that would be the fourth, once it has that fourth dimensional point of view and can see itself, that's the bridge to the next perspective, right? This thing opens up. You put crystals in it. It's super cool. So the fifth dimension is being able to see from a point of view, a dimensional perspective, that you are seeing your fourth dimensional self, seeing your third dimensional self, and then becoming present with the fact that you are in a 3D experience. The 3D experience, there's nothing bad about it. Take away all of the energies and labels and things that you've been told. The 3D experience is super cool. We get to travel places, you know, take an airplane, we get to eat, we go to lunch. It is super cool because it's not about the frequency of the 3D. Right? So we're not getting away from the fact that we are experiencing a 3D form. 3D form just means that it's not flat. It means that it has dimension to it, so it can actually experience things, right? Think of it as geometry and stop thinking of 3D as fear, because it's not that it's fear. That's what this reality has created itself to be because it's unaware. 4D, it's unaware that there's anything outside of it, right? And like I said, there's love and there is fear. There are choices that we out of free will, as the source consciousness, we are the source consciousness. Source is looking through Carlie's eyes. Carlie doesn't exist. She does right now because she's having an experience, but she doesn't exist. Source is looking through my eyes, having this experience. And the free will of that is that we get to have choice. I get to choose every single moment. Hello, Alaya Bean. Nice to see you. I get to choose every single moment what I'm going to pull from. Am I pulling from love? Am I pulling from fear? It's still source. It's still source. That's where there's no judgment about it. That's where it becomes amazing. But the 3D, like I said, the 3D is not a bad thing. It's the frequency that it embodied because it didn't know what it was. right? So if you look at like an animal, like a wild animal, okay, look at a lion. A lion is a 3D animal. It doesn't have the awareness that it's a lion. It can look in a mirror, but it doesn't have the consciousness, the 4D consciousness that it's a lion. It can't self-identify. Some animals can. Monkeys can, right? They have a fourth dimensional perspective of recognizing themselves. They can identify. Well, the human has been in the same point of view as the lion or the monkey for all of these years because it didn't have awareness that it was something. Like we had enough consciousness as humans to look in the mirror and say, I am Carlie, right? Like that's what I've been told. I'm Carlie. I was named that. That's what I identify with. But we haven't had the awareness that we're more than just Carlie, right? So you'll see a lot of angelic frequency beings right now on Instagram. Halio, she just changed her name. But one of our beautiful angelic mirrors that's on Instagram just changed her name. And you'll see a lot of people do this because when they activate into the fifth dimension, they're way, way, way beyond the fifth dimension. Their consciousness is beyond the fifth dimension. It's that the fifth dimension has become their baseline consciousness. And that's where I'm at. But what happens when they do that, especially as angels, you're asked sometimes to change your name because it holds a frequency. So when the angelic realms give you direction, you from the higher perspective gives you direction to change your name, it's because there's a complete death to that old version of yourself. There's a complete death. Not everybody does this or is asked to do this, but we have a lot of people that have to mirror back to us why they changed their name. And it's because their human name that they were identified with is no longer in resonance with their energy. And it's even beyond their ego going, oh, I think I'll change my name. It's beyond that. Right. And I even have an example of this with my own uncle who is not, necessarily tapped in consciously, is a little bit, but he was in the military for a long time. He has severe PTSD, and the version of himself that he presented to us as a family was extremely narcissistic and full of pain, right? And so he went missing for like 20 years. We knew where he was, but he was not in our experience. And every time he was in our experience, it was hell because that's what he was creating from, was hell, because that's what he knew. So when he came back recently this year and moved back to Utah, he changed his name. And I asked him, and my husband did too. We asked him, why did you change your name? And he said, because it no longer resonates with the version that I am now. And that is 100% okay. So people will change their name based off of the energy that they're embodying, and that's completely okay. So I'm just bringing that into everyone's awareness so you can see why that happens. It's because you shift into a different dimension of self. Your point of view is different. And when you become so aware that you are not this and that you're gifted to be able to experience this, but that you are not it, it's really hard to identify again with certain things, right? I'm going to trigger some people with this, but I've been saying this a lot, and here we go. Starseeds and light warriors did this identity thing again. I was a part of it. We've all been a part of it. It was a beautiful thing. What we did is we created a community, and everyone came in with this new point of view, and we started working together from this point of view. Thank you. My friend Ryan said the same thing. Trigger away. I was like, okay, here we go. But basically, I don't even know where I was at with that. But anyways, there's a whole new perspective and point of view, right? Can somebody get me back on track with what I was talking about? You specifically, Tyler. I'm trying here, okay? So this dimensional point of view, I know, is what I'm getting at, and Spirit keeps telling me to just stick with it and stick with truth. But ultimately, when you see yourself out there and you come back to this 3D experience and you recognize that it's a gift, there's a lot of things that you might not identify with. Starseeds, light workers, that's what we were on. Okay. This is what happened to me when I shifted again, and you guys all watched it happen. Everybody who's on my channel has watched me evolve. A month ago, I posted the angelic channeling, right? It's on my Instagram. When that happened, when I was in that, the profound expansion of consciousness that had happened to me the night before was this whole new death and rebirth again. And after I was expanded into that aspect of myself, I recognized that, oh my God, no wonder we are so drained, okay, as the Starseed Light Warrior community. All right. The solar flares are there. They show us what we're activating into. They're a mirror. Everything's a mirror. Okay. The solar flares are a mirror, and they're literally representing to us what's happening, right? It's so whether the solar flares were happening or not, the body was going to expand, but to not have something to help us see what's happening to us would make us go crazy. There would be more of us angel beings checking out because there would be nothing to identify with, right? So we started identifying with the solar flares and the solar flash and the shift and all of those things. Do I believe that all of that is true? Absolutely. That's besides the point. The point is that when you pay attention too much and too long on something, it starts to siphon your energy. So the very thing that is actually giving you energy and expanding your consciousness, even though I get the physical stuff, right? I get that our bodies are going through a lot, but it's a choice. It's also a choice. When those solar flares are coming and activating you, it's still your choice to either take it and make it present or take it and make it a distraction. And so years have gone by where we have all been supporting each other in distraction. And a lot of us had to wake up outside of that and see it differently and go, oh my God, we identified again. Okay. We are not Starseeds. That's a label. We are not light warriors. That's a label. It helped us get to this point of expansion, right? But ultimately, we're so beyond that identity, you know? And so to see that and go, wow, everybody's drained and complaining and crying and feel so powerless because they gave their power away to something outside of them. The sun. You gave your power away to the sun, and it was trying to do the opposite of that, right? That's the paradox, right? That we're waking up to is, oh my God, if it doesn't bring me back home to self, it's out of my experience. It's out. Because here's the thing. If we're going to have a massive shift in consciousness, which, hello, it's already happened. I would not be here in this space if it didn't already happen. You guys would not be here talking with me if it didn't already happen. Do I believe that a massive one is going to come through? Sure, I'm open to everything. But here's the problem. It's not right now. It's not every time I open my eyes. Okay? That's the problem. If it's taking your attention away, then you might as well just go join a religion. Honestly, it's the same energy. You're giving it all of your attention and you're saying the solar flares are the reason why I can't do anything and that I'm a victim. The solar flash is the reason why I can't do anything because I'm a victim. So now it's starting to show us and mirror back to us where we've become a victim again. And I'm not saying everyone is like this, but what I am saying is I'm seeing it a lot with everybody's videos. TikTok, really bad. I've been seeing it a lot, you know, and I always did. And it finally got to a point where it was so out of resonance for me, but I could honor what it gave me, right? I honor what it gave me. And just like how we can honor what the hell gave us, right? In order to plummet us into the heights of heaven. So I can honor everything that everyone is channeling and doing and all of that. And it all is valid. All of it is valid. So here's another example of this. Bashar. Man, I'm throwing out names today. So many people have been saying, oh, Bashar is distorted. Bashar is distorted, right? It's not blah, 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 blah. Okay. Bashar is valid because it served a purpose for many people, but that's where it's at, right? That's where it's at. So if you've come outside of listening to like channels like Bashar, if you've come outside of that, you'll recognize how even that is identity with something outside of itself, right? Even that is identity, because as a true angelic being of source and the galactic human that we are stepping into and activating from, nothing is separate from you. So when you're channeling, and I had to ask this question even about Bashar, and spirit showed me exactly what it is. Okay, there is no judgment in it. It's that there are certain human beings that are having a conscious experience, and in order for them to be able to bring through all this information, they have to totally disassociate from their identity, right? In order for Bashar, and this is just what spirit told me, to be able to pull in this human, for Bashar to be able to work through that human, it has to recognize itself as something separate from it in order for that specific channel and human to really open itself up and allow the energy to come in, right? So everybody has their own things as humans that they have to identify with in order to bring certain channeled energy through. Pat, I've never been a victim. I've just simply never set boundaries out of respect for myself. This whole thing is very simple at its core. It's so simple, it gets overlooked. It is so simple. Oh my God. We make it so complex because we believe that we have to find like literally it's distractions, but we believe that we have to find things in order to find the truth. And as a 3D human without the fourth dimensional perspective, we do. Right? But once you've come into the fourth or fifth dimension of consciousness within yourself, you don't need to identify anymore. You're just cool with whatever it is you're doing. I mean, look at Eckhart Tolle. He's just so chill. Like, he's just chill. He's just in the present moment. He doesn't channel a being. He's not channeling something outside of him. He's just saying, look, get here right now. This is presence. This is it. And he's just so calm and embodies that energy so well. So all I'm saying is just be aware. Just be aware of who you're listening to. And if you're still the version of yourself that needs that, right? We all need mirrors. God needed a mirror. This is why I explained the single point, right? The single point of consciousness, and it split itself into two choices, fear and love. Still consciousness, fear, love. So it could see itself, and from there have free will to create. And then from there, it has different perspectives of creation, right? New name is Lumia. Go for it. Go for it. Change it all. Change it all, because you get to choose it. You're the creator. Somebody gave you your name. Somebody else gave you your name. If you don't like it, change it. Like, it's that simple. Like, who cares about what other people think? Because you're not attracting people that can't see you, right? That's why people are moving on and falling out of your experience, Pat, right? They're moving on and falling out because new ones are coming in, because you have to have a mirror by universal law that is in your frequency so you can see itself. You can see yourself, right? So that's the mirror. That's the mirror theory. I've never read that. It's just something that I've embodied and it's come through me. So that's why I talk so much about it, because it helps you pull your power back and recognize that everything is you, everything is a mirror, there's no judgment, everyone has their own ways of perceiving self, and you get to decide through that aspect if it resonates with you or not, right? And that's where we're at. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming on. So for me, just real quick for the new people, I do angelic channeled sessions. What this means is that it's still Carlie. It is me. But I am tapping into your highest frequency possible, because I'm able to do so because I've opened myself up to that point. I chose it, right? Now I'm in it, and there was a lot of death and rebirth to get there, but I do a full session with you. We talk about your design, where you've been, where you are, where you're going, and we bring it all right here, all present right now as a conscious creator. And I help you see how you can pull and choose from both sides of your heaven and your hell. So you can message me and I will put you in for a session, and then I write you a full report, and it's got the Hawkins scale. I have links on there for I am affirmations, because that's where it gets simple again, is you have to reprogram the subconscious in order for the conscious mind to see that projection into the hologram, right? It's coming from back here. Woo! Through your eyes, right? So that's what I help you guys with. Message me if you would like to do a channeled session with me. I put a lot of energy into it. It's $60 for 60 minutes, but it takes me 2 hours for each session, because I have to write your report and then I send that to you, and I send you an audio recording of it. So let's see, Pat, mostly family falling, people who have been through the shit supporting me. Absolutely. Thanks, Pat. Yeah, so this is another thing with family, is that your family can be a part of your soul family. They absolutely can be that, but they would have to choose it. And there has to be some type of black sheep, usually, that stands firm and it becomes that mirror, repels them. Guys, when I first started my Starseed channel on Instagram, my family thought that I was creating a cult. For real. They're like, oh my God, Carlie's in a cult. She's creating a cult. She's a part of a cult. And I was like, you'll see. You'll see. Now they're all on it. They watch my stuff. They send my stuff. It's like, it all comes back around. So just stand in your truth. Let them go. Right? A lot of family members are playing roles. Everyone's playing a role. Somebody is your hell. Somebody is your heaven. Somebody is the most triggering narcissistic person in your life. They're there to teach you more about yourself, right? Okay, let me see, Tara. I have a vast and vivid imagination. It almost feels like I live a different life through this mental state. Is there a parallel life living through this dream? Okay, so I have learned so much about dimensions and parallel realities, okay? And this is how I actually experienced this the other night, okay? Here's my story. So frequency works through light and sound, right? Light and sound. So, for an example, I had left this dimension. My body was here. I had a slice of consciousness here in this dimension for a moment. I went into another realm where I was experiencing my husband making noises, going like to me, and I was watching him do that in this other realm, right? And then all of a sudden I warped. You know how there it looks like this? Reality. It's like a portal. I warped and I went from that reality and that realm of hearing that noise right in my face going, right? And then I went into this reality, and my fan was that noise in a different realm. But all of a sudden, when I morphed back into this reality, my fan, it came from like right here, like, and it was over there. And I was like, I warped into this other realm, and I came back into this realm, and that fan noise went from in my face to clear over there. And I was like, oh my God, I just experienced a different realm, a different reality with the same frequency of that, but it was something else. So does that make sense? Parallel lives. There's so many different versions of you, and that's how I saw it. It's like we have this realm, we have this realm, we have this realm, we have this realm, and they're all connected by light and sound. So what sounds like a fan over here in this realm for me, in a different realm where another version of me is conscious and experiencing itself, that frequency of the fan is there, but it's something else. This is why they say that we can't have nuclear war, because it affects all realms. You see what I'm saying? It affects all realms because it's light and sound frequency. And so for something of that significance, that loud, that powerful to go off in the third dimension, it's directly connected to every other realm. And that's where they say the galactics are here making sure that that doesn't happen, because it can't. It would screw up so many different universes. So that's how I've seen it, and experienced it, is that everything in this reality, and Spirit told me this 6 months ago, it doesn't matter what form something takes, there is a higher version of it. So everything that is physical, okay, this, it's made of light. There is a bunch of atoms inside of this that are conscious light that mash together in order to create physical structure, right? But it exists in every single realm because it's light and sound frequency, okay? Found saddlebags from the American Indian War from U.S. Cav Scouts. I was a recon scout in the Army. Also found a belt that fits me from the late 1800s. People didn't weigh 300 pounds back then. Haha. Right. And see, that's where these realms come in too. And this is where they say, like, you can time travel, right? Because what has been created cannot be destroyed. So that means that a era of time, so say the 1900s Civil War, late 1800s, Civil War, all the wars, they still exist now. They still exist now. They're an experience that we can go into because it's been created already. It can't be destroyed. It's still there. That's another realm. Realms are different than dimensions. They're cohesive because there's different dimensional aspects to each realm, but that's what universes are. Universes, as in, stop looking at universes as if it's a bunch of planets in one area. It's beyond our comprehension. We can't comprehend it. A medium that just came in my field while doing a spoon bending session on him. He saw me and another medium in a mirror. I reached out to her and saw that we are a star twin flame. We activated. That's amazing. Thank you. We live in the realm, right? The realm is Earth realm right now. And I've been seeing it even differently than I've ever seen it before, guys. To me, it's a realm, right? It's like a single planed realm, and we're stacked and layered with a whole bunch of other universes and realms. And that's why we can see apparitions, because apparitions can come through because they're not created or destroyed. So if you've ever lost a loved one, they're always around. Then they're in other realms. That's why during quantum hypnosis sessions, for people that are channeling their loved ones being in New Earth, or they'll channel their higher self being in New Earth, that's because that's a realm that's already exists. It already exists. It's just that what we're doing is, there's this realm here that has a frequency baseline, right? Like, where a lot of fear is in this realm. But above Earth, Earth has multiple versions of herself, just like we do, right? If I can be in a body and tap and be in a fifth dimensional perspective of myself, that's what Earth can do. But my reality is different because of this dimensional perspective. And that's what Earth is doing. She is embodying another realm of experience that already exists, that we are going to get to experience transitioning into consciously. We can go to all different realms and rebirth and be different versions and all of that, but to go from one to the other consciously and in your form, that is the cool part. That is the part that everybody's waiting for. But you have to choose it. You still have to choose it. Okay? And everybody that's on here has chosen it, because you wouldn't be on here. You couldn't hear me. I mean, I know that my role and tapping into an angelic frequency, everything changed. It wasn't about Carlie anymore. It wasn't about Carlie's hell and any stories I created. I had to get extremely responsible and accountable for how I show up as an extension of angelic energy. So I have to constantly pull myself back to this space of truth. And it's work. It's constant work, because we are addicted to distraction. It doesn't matter what it is. We're addicted to it. We have to be. Because if we weren't addicted to distraction, we would always be in the I am it all consciousness 9D, right? The experience is to not be in that. So we had to come somewhere that constantly pulled us from it so we could know what it felt like to remember ourselves again, right? That's just how I can explain that. It's so incredible. Thank you so much for having this conversation at this moment. You are a blessing. Thank you so much. That's why I'm doing this. And like I said, you can schedule a session with me. Just direct message me for now. But this is what I do. I tap into, the highest angelic frequency possible, and I am specific to your design. So I mirror back to you based off of your design, and we figure out why you've been pulled a certain way or not. And then we bring in the higher perspective so you can bring it all right here, right now. And you can honor the hell and you can honor the heaven, but not let it distract you. Is everyone capable of this? Are they capable of this level of consciousness and dimension? Absolutely. But the difference with that, it's not that they're not capable, it's that everybody's playing a role. So if I came here to awaken, I needed certain family members to help Carlie and the generational DNA that I'm holding to awaken me. So I said, okay, I'm going to be the one that awakens first. I need you to play hell. I need you to play prisoner controlling. I need my brother to play the seraphim angelic so I can remember myself. And so I created all of this, but they did too. And they said, okay, out of unconditional love, I will be hell. My sister is hell. She's literally been hell her whole life. I mean, severe psychic attacks, addiction, all of that. She's out of it now. But I finally got to tell her a month ago, like, you did your role. It's over now. I awakened and you can see me. You don't have to be hell anymore. And she was just bawling like, oh my God, finally. Right. And she's had severe manic bipolar, right? And her whole life. And it's been so crazy hard. But to see that it was a role, and then to see my role having to be activated in order for her to lay it down. I mean, that is profound. And that's what you guys are going to start seeing. So the people in your life that are causing hell for you, breaking the cycle, yep, that are causing hell for you, you have to honor that because they're doing it for you. It's out of unconditional love. They're not, they don't like it, right? Release them from their role. Awaken so they can take the armor off and lay down the duality. But we had to have duality, right? We're all playing. We're in a play. We're characters in a play. We're having an experience. And now we have the awareness that we've been having the experience. And now we're tapping into the awareness of the awareness that we're having the experience. So with that awareness of the fifth dimension, now you can choose what you're going to create. Now I know hell. Now I know heaven. How do I want to create? Right? You can create with hell if you want to, but you're going to keep getting hell. So I think we're over that. I think we've had that experience. I think we're done with that. Yep, you said that in a past session. Absolutely, breaking the cycle. But see, breaking the cycle happens in layers too. That's the thing. Like, I started my Starseed account on Instagram 3 years ago. My family thought I was a part of a cult, all this shit, blah, blah, blah. And it didn't stop me. Whatever, think what you want. Right? It was hard. It was hard to do because I had to defy all odds, and without the awareness of why I felt driven to do it, right? I didn't have the awareness, and I was losing people left and right, but I was gaining so many that could see me. And now we're here 3 years later, and it's like everyone in my experience is awakened on some level. And I mean, to have even my mom and my sister and all of them, and me just express to them angelic like frequency, like how I talk to you guys, and they can hear me. I mean, that's a mirror call, right? I came up with that, just so you know. We're going to trademark that. But it's a mirror call. I'm like, oh my God, duh. Of course, you can't have a miracle unless there's a mirror that shifts. They will shift when you shift. When you shift, they will shift. But if you're on my channel right now, you know that you're the one that has to shift. And even the people that you believe would never support you, why can't they? You're creating it. You are creating it. Shift, focus on you, focus on your truth, and create them to support it without attachment, without expectation. The faith and the knowing is so strong that you just let them go and you become peaceful and neutral. You let them go. And then when they come back, that's your miracle. Okay. Did the quote slash unquote narcissist template just reveal itself? I never heard of it before last year, but went through a tumultuous breakup. No, narcissism has been around for a long time, but your awareness of it just hasn't been there. So when I was in my extremely abusive narcissistic relationship, and I did a few lives about this a few days ago, but that's when I started learning a lot about narcissism. And I was like, oh my God, it is an actual genetic DNA mental illness. It's a mental illness. But outside of that, there is free will. And so people choose to be born into that mental illness, into that lineage, into that whatever it is. So that way they can become that role fully because they have to, right? And so that's the sacrifice. That's when you see the sacrifice and the unconditional love. All right, Pat, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for being on here. Yeah, so Tara, I really do suggest that you work with me. I'm actually working with another lady right now with the narcissism. So it's a big thing right now, but I went through all of it. It was a huge part of my awakening. I've talked about it before. I've been beat. I've been, physically beat, abused, emotionally, mentally, all of those things. And I kept choosing it. I kept choosing it, right? I was stuck in an insanity loop under a spell that I put myself in so I could see my shadow. And so the only way for me to be able to truly see my shadow was to have it directly mirrored back to me until I finally was aware enough and I had absolutely no choice but to shift out of it. And that was the most painful experience I've ever gone through in my life. But I was doing Instagram videos at the time, and that would have been 2 years ago. And you can actually see what I was receiving while I was inside of the darkest pain I've ever been in. I mean, the spiritual attacks were in my dreams, and I'd wake up screaming, and then I'd wake up and I'd be screaming in real life. Like I couldn't escape it. So it's all there to just show you what you're not. It's there to keep you repelled. The suffering has to be so intense for you to say, I'm done. I am done with the experience, and take your power back. Bring it right back in here. And then you'll get the opportunity to start plummeting into the heights, more heights. I know you've had them, but more heights. And then you can bring them right back here too. And that's something that I had to recognize with this shift that I went through recently, was that even the heights of heaven were distracting me, right? So think about how much distraction there is in the depths of hell. The same equal amount of distraction, not pain, but distraction, was happening to me with the divine, because I was going outside of my experience constantly, trying to find something else, find myself in a higher version. And God kept taking me there and being like, and you done now? You gonna go back to your present moment? You've seen the depths of hell. You've seen the heights of heaven. What is it doing for you if you're not here right now having your experience? Your experience is a gift. The karma is not because we did something wrong and we have to come back to earth and clean it up and have it equally done back to us. That's not what karma is. The karma is that we came to earth and we didn't get present and we didn't enjoy the experience and understand the gift that it is. And so out of love, out of true love, we're like, okay, I'll do it again. And we come back. Still didn't awaken to it. We do it again and we come back. So this time, that's why they're saying this time we have to get it right. All that we're getting right is just recognizing the gift that it is and being present in the reality. And because of that, it shifts. When we shift, it shifts. When you shift, they shift. So it all comes back to that accountability and responsibility of being in your truth. No fear, your truth. It is not scary. People talking crap about you and your truth and laughing at it and all of that, they're in misery. right? That's where the compassion comes in. They are in misery because they cannot embody the perspective that would pull them out of being a victim. So they're stuck being a victim. And you can say, okay, that's your role, but it's not for me. So go be with your other victims, but it's not for me. When you're ready to rise, I'll be right here because that's the role that I play. That's what I choose to be, right? So that's you coming back into your power. Unfolding. Thanks for sharing it. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And I appreciate everybody that's been on this live with me. I will repost it. I just want you guys all to remember that everything is just trying to compass you back to self. It's a compass. So if you're seeing things with people that doesn't feel good and you're like in betrayal, or you're noticing narcissism or lies or any of that, it's not mirroring back to you because that's who you are. It's mirroring back to you because that's who you're not. So you have to choose yourself and walk away, right? I wrote a song. It's on my Instagram. I'll repost it on my stories for you guys. But when I was leaving my ex and was going through this, I wrote a song, and it's all about seeing the light in the dark, right? And it just channeled right through me. And then I wrote another song that is about dripping out of your own ocean, right? So we're coming up out of our own ocean. And I did both of those with just my guitar, but I'm going to be recording a new album that has to do with all of my consciousness music and everything that I've been through. So that is coming. I'm super stoked for it, but I do have those songs and they will resonate with you, with where you're at right now, especially if you're having to leave an old version of you behind. Because as you leave the hell, that's a version of you. It's a death. I mean, it's a death with the people that were in your experience, right? It's a death with the version of who you were. I mean, it's completely shedding that and moving into a new version. And it feels like a naked, vulnerable, reborn place because you have nothing to attach it to, right? And that's where that's being alone. Just being alone and embodying your new self, because when your power comes in and you are ignited in the truth of who you are, you will make up for all of that time that you had to rest and find yourself, because of the power is so rapid that it's like boom, 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 like doing a show, doing music, doing this, working with clients, all the things, like whatever it is that you want to do, you have to take the time to bring it all within you so it can go pow. And then you wake up to it. And then, like I said, it makes up for all of the time because all of a sudden you're able to complete and be successful quickly. It's like quickly. And that's the flow. That is the flow that everybody is looking to be in. So if you're not there yet, you have the awareness of that, and that's enough to get you going. So you can work with me and I will help you see where you are, the role that you've played, the role that everyone around you is playing, and the power that you need to step into, because I'm leading leaders. So I don't work with people that are super unconscious, that are just waking up, because God isn't bringing them into my experience. God is only bringing the leaders into my experience, and that's who I'm working with. So I'm very aware that I'm helping leaders lead and that they won't need me anymore. That's the point, right? I'm not trying to siphon people's energy and keep them with me. I want you to evolve. So evolve and allow me to help you through that process. You can direct message me and we can set up a scheduled time, and we will do a FaceTime video through Instagram or whatever platform it's from. I'll write you a full report, send you all of the links and everything that you need. I have journal prompts. I have so many different things that will help you from being distracted. That's all that it is. We're just getting present. We're getting away from the distractions. We're speaking into existence what we are consciously choosing, right? So I love all of you guys. I got to get off because Instagram is going to shut me off because it's been an hour. But please message me if you want to work with me. I have some amazing shows coming up. Me and Tyler are doing a show on Friday, and me and Ryan are doing a show on Monday. And it's beautiful. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like, these people that come into your life that can see you and hear you, that's what's going to happen for you. If it hasn't already, let me help you become aware of where it is. where it is. It's not out there. It's in here. Okay. All right. I love you guys, and I will talk to you shortly. Give me a direct message and look out for our upcoming shows. You guys have a beautiful day. Thank you.